And this period of disillusionment then can pass into a more severe phase, which I call shattering. And it can be a critical phase. It can be a transitional phase, but it's a very difficult one, where our hearts finally break, and we can enter a terrible crucible where the things that we hold most dear are shattered, our plans, our hopes, our dreams, our little loves and our big loves. Our illusions are shattered, and most primarily the illusion that our destiny is within our control. And this can come through many ways. The loss of a loved one, disease, the death of a relationship, the loss of even of a beloved pet can set us off, the loss of financial stability, the loss of a child, maybe a child who's disappeared or has become a prodigal. Sometimes the loss that comes with aging, illness, the loss of our vitality, the loss of our physical appearance, our mental prowess. All of these things can cause us to come to a point of shattering. And at its worst, when we go through this period, we can't stand to be with other people. We might not even stand to be with ourselves, and so we see no way out. And we experience fear and panic and anxiety, and we just want to be out of this situation. Now, in the Christian tradition, there's some very strong wisdom about this phase. It's called crucifixion. For the Christian, the cross is not a negative symbol, but a symbol of life and possibility. In the cross, we not only identify with the sufferings of Jesus, we embrace our own suffering. That's a part of our tradition when we go through this period of shattering. And so, if we can walk that road, that narrow road that Jesus walked, then the period of disillusionment and shattering can become a doorway into a beautiful and deeper life. The final phase, which I call glory. We might call it enlightenment or consciousness or holiness. But in this phase, we experience a spirit of freedom, the peace that comes with a deep surrender, the letting go of our losses, the coming to terms with our losses. We might even find that even though we thought things were falling apart, they were really coming together in a deeper way. Life, having shattered our illusions, is now a daily gift to be embraced with joy and with gratitude. And though we may continue to have many difficult days, we find in those days a sense of peace, a sense of rest, and a sense of God's presence. And so Teresa talked about these stages that we walk through. And again, these seasons of life are not common to everyone. It's not like you go 1, 2, 3. And I know in some of our support groups we've talked about the stages of grief. The 7 stages of grief. It's not like everybody walks through 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you're at 3, then you go back to 1, then you jump to 6. Sometimes you don't get angry at all. Sometimes you go from one to the other. But the fact is, at some point in our lives, we will each find ourselves in one of these phases. And quite often, to reach the higher ground of faith, to become a member of the Church of Higher Elevation, you've got to walk through these very, very difficult and dark days, the days of disillusionment and shattering. And then we understand, as the Spaniards say, todo de pasa, all things are passing. Nothing is permanent but the love of God. And so as members of this church, the Church of Higher Elevation, we fix our eyes not on the things that are seen, but on the things that are unseen, because the things that are seen are passing away. But the love of God abides forever.